I'm an American standing in Moscow, Russia. Behind me is Russian Parliament, where Russia takes care of their political business. And next to me is famous American political analyst Larry C. Johnson.
Well, most people confuse me with the black basketball player Larry Johnson, known as Grandmama, except I'm shorter, fatter, whiter, and older.
I thought that when you said C, I was like, he's needing to make a distinction because there's other Larry Johnsons. Because I've looked up Joseph Rose before, and it's kind of humbling. You're like, oh, there's a lot of those guys.
That's why when I was with the CIA, and they went in and say undercover name, they go, you don't need one. Everybody's named Johnson. You'll be anonymous.
Well, anyway, guys, we were going to get together just to have a good time, but actually I came across some exclusive information from Bryansk just a few hours ago, and I wanted to get Larry's raw reaction to it. Larry, I texted it to you on your phone. You want to take a look? It's a 1-minute clip.
Okay.
I just did it. I'm sneaky.
A friend called Mashika, which is a little bear, reporting about the rockets that hit right next to it. Where behind me you can see broken trees where a rocket impacted the ground close to a factory, close to a kindergarten and residential area where the Ukraine Neptune rocket systems came in. And I found on the ground here, this part here, this processor in the center comes from Japan, and the intake mechanism comes from Canada. This is the part that was attached to the rocket system that was screwed on the ground, and I was invited into the factory warehouse where all the parts were collected. These are all the components of Neptune fragments after they've been detonated on the ground and their warhead has exploded. And this is the collection of spare parts that come from all over the world, mostly Japan, Canada, the UK, Malaysia, Taiwan. It says made in Malaysia. This part here coming from the UK. And this was 4 Neptune rockets that came into the Bryansk region. Broken windows from the rocket impact.
Larry, I have been given the impression, per on the street, that Ukraine has advanced technology of their own.
Yeah.
But I look at that and I think, they don't have any technology.
Now look, this has been a proxy war from the outset. But the fact is Ukraine has been a de facto member of NATO since 1995. That's 30 years ago. So you were what, just 20? All right. So, and why I say de facto member, starting about 1995, NATO began conducting military exercises at Yavoriv military base, which is in western Ukraine, near the Polish border. It became a de facto NATO military headquarters. Right. In fact, NATO conducted, they always claim these military exercises were defensive in nature. Right. Except there were videos that are now have been removed from the internet, which showed that they were conducting offensive cyber warfare exercises, teaching Ukraine how to conduct cyber warfare against Russia.
Wow.
So this entire war has been a proxy war, and it's been it should be a wake-up call to the West. So far it hasn't been, because they refuse to recognize that they're getting their rear end handed to them.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that Ukraine has been the only thing they're good at is
Я плохо понимаю по-русски. Я американец. I really don't know.
I understood that though.
You did?
Yeah.
What was it?
They said, he doesn't understand Russian. He's
you
an
understood
American.
Me. Okay, good.
He's an American. Yeah. They'd say, no, yeah понимаю. We're in the final stages of let's call it desperation by the Ukrainians. They don't have any good options left. And, I know that President Putin has come in for some criticism. In fact, I don't really think it's fair to direct the criticism at him for the pace of military operations, because he's deferring. He's not calling the shots. The general staff is. That's what makes Russia sort of unique. Even go back to the Great Patriotic War, that even though the Western narrative is that Stalin was this great dictator, the fact of the matter was, even back then, the general staff called the shots. Initially, early on in the war, Stalin would override some of their decisions, but as the war proceeded,
Да. Yeah, yeah, Americanus. That's okay, sir. Good English.
but as the war proceeded, he deferred to the general staff, and so that's where we saw, Russia, the then Soviet Union, carry out these crushing military victories against the Nazis.
It's an interesting point because people like to say Putin's a dictator.
Yeah.
But that kind of puts that to bed.
Just it is so ridiculous to take that narrative when you look at what's happened right now in the United States. This week, almost the entire press corps turned in their passes to the Pentagon because Pete Hegseth was requiring them to sign basically an oath of allegiance where they wouldn't even report information that was unclassified. They were supposed to not report on things that the Pentagon would see as unfavorable.
Wow.
It's just crazy. And so, yet the United States likes to come out and claim that the press is controlled here in Russia. Well, look, we're walking down the street, we're filming, we're talking. We don't have security agents coming around us saying, "What the hell are you doing? Who are you talking to? You're Americans and you're talking in a foreign language."
Exactly.
There's none of that.
Yeah.
So it is, Russia for me is an example of a country.
Hello. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Hey, we got the kiddos.
They'll see our face.
Got the kiddos going by.
They'll want to practice their English.
Russia is a prophecy of the future for the rest of the world. It's what America could become again. Right now America is terribly divided. There is no unity of purpose. There's no recognition of common values. There's great division. And here you are in Russia, which came out of a communist ideology that persecuted religion. And now, frankly, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting an active Orthodox cathedral.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
The devotion of the people is genuine. It's not artificial.
Right.
So that's what makes it so remarkable.
Right. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you on the subject of missiles, Trump was recently
the Tomahawks?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's saying, well, maybe I'll give Zelensky Tomahawks. But it's my understanding that Tomahawks can be nuclear tipped. So
yes.
How could you say that?
Well,
because if Russia doesn't know what's coming at them, then you're starting a nuclear war, right?
Potentially. Well, let's start with the good news.
Okay.
The good news is, with 100 conventionally armed Tomahawk missiles, all those missiles together could destroy one Russian oil refinery. Think of that, 100 of them to just destroy one Russian oil refinery.
Okay.
Well, Russia's got more than one oil refinery,
yes.
okay? But the United States is only in a position right now to supply Ukraine with up to 50 Tomahawk missiles. And the problem with the 50 Tomahawk missiles is they right now, if they're fired from a land-based system, they are not configured to carry nuclear weapons, which is good, even at the ones that are air-launched. So the reality is the United States doesn't have them to provide in any kind of quantity that would make any kind of difference on the battlefield, other than, frankly, just pissing the Russians off and intensifying Russian attacks against the Ukrainian infrastructure. I think one of
all right, so that is good news.
Yeah, one of the reasons for some people have complained about it being slow pace. Well, the Russian General Staff, from what I'm looking at, has put a priority one on limiting Russian casualties. This is not, during the Great Patriotic War, they were willing to incur far larger casualties than they are now. So that's point number one. Point number two, they're also trying to limit civilian casualties on the Ukrainian side, because the war is not necessarily against the Ukrainian people, but it is against these neo-Nazis.
What about the whole nuclear tipped thing? Is that
Yeah, well,
misinformation,
they have to be specially configured. So that's, if you will, that's sort of the good news, that they're currently, to my understanding, and I've talked with Scott Ritter and Doug McGregor and others, that it's not likely that they would be. However, from the Russian standpoint, they've got to assume that they could be, which is why that they would, fight back and take out. If those launchers, if they're brought into Poland or Romania and launched from there, then you could see potential Russian strikes at those bases inside Poland and Romania.
Okay.
So it could represent a real escalation. I love Red Square.
Yes.
Man, it's such a picturesque.
I thought it'd be a good spot to end the video.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts, any new opinions on how things might end or how things might be in the short term?
Well, Russia is not on a war footing. Russia is not mobilized for war. That's why it continues to be called a special military operation. If this was a war, my understanding is, talking to Stanislav Krapivnik, Stas says that, they've actually got upwards of 32 million reservists. So Russian men that have served in the military, probably ages 24 to 60, that if it was necessary for total war, they'd all be activated. There'd be controls over fuel. There would be a total war effort. Well, we're not there. As you see, people are going about their business really as if there's not a war going on.
Right.
And it hasn't. The narrative in the West is that, the Russian people, the economy's terrible, men are fleeing the country, Putin's popularity is plummeting, and it's all lies.
Right.
That's all they've got. That's all the West has, lies.
Right. All right, guys. Well, there you go. I want you to be sure that you go to his website, not just his YouTube channel, but he has a website where he posts up-to-date articles and video links like this one.
Sonar21.com.
Very good, very good. And then his YouTube channel is Countercurrents. Of course, mine is Expat American, so like and subscribe to both of our channels. Click the share button, leave a comment, tell us what you think of what we've discussed, and maybe we'll do a little more here in another video.
Thanks, Joseph.
You got it, man. The clip I'm sharing in this video is from my friend Marcel's YouTube channel. He is a Canadian. You may remember him from my trip earlier this year to Bryansk and Kursk near the border. His channel link is also below.